Hey folks, Blayman13 here from PCG, and we are back with some more Scum videos. In today's video we're going to be looking at the lockpicking aspect of Scum. We will just go through the different types of locks, screwdrivers and lockpicks, and we will explain a little bit about the techniques and the do's and don'ts. I would also just like to mention that unfortunately I am playing Scum on an older graphics card, so I do suffer from a lot of frame drops, so I would recommend that you lower all your settings, and a good thing to do is to go into your video settings and turn your render resolution all the way down, which will help improve your frames, which is vital to the lockpicking. The lockpicking aspect of the Scum gameplay is very important, especially when you're trying to raid, open locked lockers, even open the lockers in the bunkers or the police station. There is a lot of skill when it comes to lockpicking, but there is also quite a bit of luck involved. So let's get a look at some of the stuff we have to work with. First thing we will need when starting our lockpicking adventure is the lockpicking board. You can craft this in your crafting menu when you select your tab. There are three main types of craftable locks in the game. The first one you can see here is the gold lock. It is by far the strongest lock, and you would recommend having that on your base. Next one down we have the silver lock. And again, the silvers are very tricky to pick. And then we have the basic lock, which is by far the easiest lock to pick of the three craftable locks. Next we have our screwdrivers. There are two types of screwdrivers available on the island. You have the red one here, which you can get up to 3 uses. And we have the black and yellow one, which is everybody's favourite, which you can collect of up to 40 uses. And finally we have our lockpicks. There are 3 types of lockpicks on the island. The one in red is the advanced lockpick, which you can get with 6 uses. The one below that is the lockpick itself, which can be got with 4 uses. And then we have the box of bobby pins, in which each pin can be crafted to make a small improvised lockpick. Now obviously the small lockpicks are the least amount of strength. The lockpicks themselves are just slightly better, but the advanced lockpicks are by far the best to use. And something that is vitally important to mention is that you need to have your thievery skill at advanced, which will give you 4 seconds to pick each lock. So let's get started with the first lock. We're going to begin using the advanced lockpick. We're going to be picking the iron lock, which is the basic lock. So each lock has what they call a sweet spot. Now, the lower the strength of the lock, the bigger the sweet spot will be. But your task is to find where that sweet spot is. My personal technique is to imagine the face of a clock. It has 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And you can use those as guidance when searching for that elusive sweet spot. Now obviously using the advanced lockpick you're going to have an advantage because it is stronger than the regular lockpick, but we will show an example of using the lockpick to pick the basic lock. Again, using your clock faces to pick which sections to test the lock, and then once you get close to the sweet spot, it is a matter of predicting where you think it's going to be. You can either move the mouse slightly to the left or slightly to the right, which is going to bring you closer to that sweet spot. Now everybody has their own technique, and there is an element of luck required to break the locks, but these basic locks are quite simple. So we will move on to the more advanced locks, with the silver one coming up next. So now moving on to the silver lock. Obviously now the silver lock is going to be stronger than the original iron lock, so it's going to have an even smaller of a sweet spot. So you're looking for that spot in your different sections. You can choose from say 12 to 3 to check there, or you could move it the whole way around from 9 to 12. Some people like to stick to a small space. Some people like to move their mouse all around the board to try and find it. Me, I sort of do in turns each section. But what you're really looking for is the lock to begin moving, and then from there you need to be able to predict is it slightly right or slightly left to get to that sweet spot. And as we begin to blow through these silver locks, you start to get the hang of it, you start to become more skilled. They say practice, practice, practice makes perfect in this game. Now, doing these test locks on the advanced lockpick board, you will be gaining experience in your thievery, so this is a good way to level up if you haven't already. Using the advanced lockpicks obviously are going to give you an advantage, and you're not always going to have a ready-made supply of these. You will have to use eventually the bobby pins, which will break a lot easier than the advanced ones. Now, there is an element of luck involved when lockpicking. Sometimes you can pop it on the first go, sometimes you can get lucky and find the sweet spot straight away, but over time you're going to require a lot of skill to break a lot of locks, or else you're just going to run out of fame points or run out of equipment. We will move on to the gold locks, and this is the holy grail of lockpicking in Scum. And now onto the gold locks. Obviously the gold locks being the strongest of the craftable locks, this will be the hardest to break. This has the smallest of the sweet spots and requires a lot more effort and skill to break. Using the same tactic that I would use for all of the other locks, we just get to work, looking for any movement in the lock at all. Once you have movement, it is simply a matter of guessing whether it's going to go left or right. Now, you'll start to learn the feel of the locks after a while. You start to become more skilled, and it really is just practice, practice, practice. But some of the golds you can pop straight away, like in the silver, so there is an element of luck. A good tip to share with you folks: when pushing F to push your lock, push it very, very lightly and only tap it. Never hold it down, or your lock will break much easier. Small taps of the F button to test the lock. As we started breaking through these gold locks, my confidence started to grow, and I started to get a lot better at lockpicking. Lockpicking is a lot of mental strain, it is very frustrating, and you really do need to be on your game. It is unforgiving, you will lose fame points, and you will lose a lot of stuff that you have gathered and looted for this specific occasion. But it is a great way to get into bases and lockers and cabinets and chests. Please do not get too disheartened when you find that you just can't pick locks or it's just not working. Practice, practice, practice will make perfect. I am only recently started lockpicking, and I can already notice the improvements in my lockpicking game. Now, I am just a beginner, I am no expert, so if any experts out there have any tips or tricks or recommendations for me or anybody else, please leave them in the comments section. The thing about lockpicking is it requires full concentration. You must hold your concentration at all times, or you will just simply waste away at your lockpicks. And now, some golds appear to be easier to break than others. Sometimes you just can't get that sweet spot, and sometimes it just pops on the first go. Like I said, there is an element of luck, and there is a big element of skill, but patience, perseverance and concentration is definitely key to lockpicking. I do hope with time and practice I will become better at lockpicking than Scum, but at the moment it is taking me quite a lot of lockpicks to break gold locks. Any relevant number of locks is quite hard for me to break. Anything really over 3 gold locks is a challenge. But I will continue to practice and hopefully continue to improve. We will just finish out this video. We broke a couple of more gold locks. I moved over to the lockpick, and then I did one with the normal lockpick that you make from bobby pins, just to show you it is possible. but it is quite harder because the bobby pin lockpicks do break quite easily, and the lockpicks that are one ahead of that also do break a little bit easier, but the advanced lockpicks are definitely the best one to use, so try your best to gather as many of them as you can, because it will definitely come in handy when raiding bases. There you have it, folks. Thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this sort of beginner's guide 101 to lockpicking in Scum. Thank you all for watching. As always, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.